Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, Marion County is set for a special election to fill former Representative Mike Waltz's spot. How the race could shift the balance of power in Washington.
And Alachua County's top cop is seeking raises for his deputies, what he's asking commissioners for to make salaries more competitive.
And Governor Ron DeSantis announced a major investment to I-75 sections near Ocala that can eventually free up your commute to work. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Marion County are among the voters who will select a replacement for former Representative Mike Waltz, and the special election could have national implications. Welcome to First at 5. I'm Bailey Korinek.
And I'm Eva Garcia. Waltz, who had served Florida's 6th district since 2018, resigned in January to become President Trump's national security advisor. WFT's Kirsten Maselka is live in the newsroom tracking the race and its candidates.
In just over a month, Sunshine State voters will head to the polls for a special election that could change up the power dynamics in Washington, D.C. These are the two candidates up for Florida's District 6 House of Representatives seat, replacing Michael Waltz, who was tapped last November to join the Trump administration. District 6 makes up Marion County, Putnam County, and as well as coastal counties of Flagler and Volusia. Republican candidate Randy Fine is no stranger to Florida politics, having served in the state government for the past 9 years. Despite being a vocal critic of Governor DeSantis, Fine has been endorsed by both Trump and House Speaker Mike Johnson. His Democratic challenger is Josh Wheel, an Orlando public school teacher who's new to the political scene. After winning their primaries in January, both candidates have not shied away from criticizing their opposition.
We learned the last 4 years that the left isn't very good at running the country.
This will be the moment in history when we reverse course and stop MAGA. And stop Project 2025.
Right now, the House of Representatives has a slim Republican majority of 218 seats, followed by 215 Democrat-filled seats and 2 vacant Florida seats. However, there may be more vacancies to come if the president taps any more Congress members. Now, with such a small margin in the Republican-led House, even one Democratic win could truly shake up the government in D.C. and really make or break Trump's administration's chances to push its agenda through Congress. Now, we'll keep following this election and bringing you the latest. Live in the newsroom, Kirsten Maselka, WUFT News.
The portion of I-75 running through Ocala is receiving a $541 million investment to ease congestion. The governor was in Ocala today to break ground on new auxiliary lanes on I-75 and 49th Street interchange. The investment will expand the highway between State Road 44 and State Road 326. Governor Ron DeSantis emphasized that the expansion is proceeding ahead of schedule.
We are able to infuse $541 million to accelerate this I-75 project, where we are creating more lanes on I-75 between State Road 44 and State Road 326.
Lane expansions will ease up an often clogged roadway frequented by tourists. The project is being coordinated by the Florida Department of Transportation along with local partnerships.
And speaking of I-75, let's take a look over at the live interstate, where after some morning rain, it's shaped up to be a beautiful day. It's looking like clear conditions and a smooth commute home this evening. UF forecaster Matthew Clark is live in the weather studio tracking the warmer weather we will see for the rest of the week.
Yeah, the warmer weather, it's only going to get warmer. Right now, we're a lot warmer than we were this time yesterday. We're in the 70s today, and that sun is shining. Overlook that East Campus cam. A lot of that rain has moved its way offshore. Looking for our satellite, it's moved its way off into the Atlantic. Clear skies overhead for parts of north central Florida and even further south. And those temperatures, again, a lot warmer today than they were yesterday. 73 in Bronson, 75 in High Springs, 74 up in Lake City. It's a beautiful afternoon out there. We're in store for a fantastic sunset, I'll tell you that. Temperatures not going to drop too far down into the 50s. Could see some patchy fog when you're waking up around 4 a.m. a little bit later, but I will be coming up in a few minutes with warmer weather this week and tracking a late front heading into the weekend.
All of Florida's 67 counties are in agreement with federal immigration authorities to detain undocumented immigrant criminals in jails. The Florida Sheriff's Association made the announcement as the state rushes to assist President Donald Trump's mass deportation efforts. Under the agreements, sheriff's deputies with special training can process immigration detainers issued by federal authorities to keep inmates in jail. The inmates can be kept up to 48 hours before being picked up by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers.
The most pressing need they have is for us to deliver to them people who are booked into our jails, who are clearly illegals and have clearly committed crimes, so that these people are deported and not released back into the community to yet commit more crime.
As state and local efforts accelerate, sheriffs also warn that the Trump administration needs to increase the number of beds available for undocumented immigrants waiting to be processed.
2 drivers were killed in a car crash in Putnam County this morning. A vehicle was traveling eastbound by Roberts Lane when they crossed into the westbound lane and swiped one car before hitting another. The driver of the first vehicle was killed, as well as the driver of the second car hit. The other passenger in the second car was seriously injured.
The University of Florida's Board of Trustees met today to discuss the ongoing presidential search. Interim President Kent Fox says he sees many opportunities but also challenges board chairman Maury Husseini. Also highlighted these achievements made on UF's Jacksonville's campus.
New technology is being applied to help at Evergreen Cemetery. It allows visitors to find specific graves with just a phone. The app will be a digital grave locator similar to GPS. They hope that the app will help visitors easily navigate the cemetery and find specific sites.
And now, instead of people having to wait, make a phone call like, hey, I just came from North Carolina, it's on a Sunday and nobody's at the cemetery to help me. They can find their graves. They can find it with this app. So it's very exciting.
Natural burial options as well as a pet cemetery is also a part of these new improvements.
Marion County Sheriff's Office is warning residents about fraudulent scam calls. Scammers are posing as Sheriff's Office employees and asking for money for various legal or donation reasons. The Sheriff's Office says it would never call to demand money and that jury duty notices only come in the mail. They urge anyone receiving a suspicious call to hang up immediately.
After the break, a House Republican budget proposal heads to a contentious vote, with representatives within the party threatening to oppose it. And strawberry season is at its peak, with many local farms hosting events for picking the fruits. Stay with us after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is working to muster up enough support to pass President Trump's budget that includes billions in tax cuts and could put programs like Medicaid on the chopping block. In a press conference today, the speaker shared optimism they could get the spending bill passed, which could spell a key victory in the president's agenda. Republicans can only afford to lose one vote, and so far 3 Republicans are a hard no on the bill, with several more on the fence. The president hosted several of them at the White House for discussions earlier today. Meanwhile, House Democrats took firm opposition against the bill.
This has been necessary because we promised to deliver President Trump's full agenda, not just a part of it. We're not just going to do a little bit now and return later for the rest.
House Democrats will not provide a single vote to this reckless Republican budget. Not one. Not one.
The budget includes more than $100 billion in new spending on immigration enforcement and the military. It also requires the House Energy and Commerce Committee to find $880 billion in cuts to federal programs.
It's peak strawberry season and local strawberry farms are waiting to be picked by you. Amber Brook Farms hosted its 4th annual Strawberry Festival in Williston. Roughly 5,000 people attended at the 4-day festival. Folks got to pick their own strawberries for just $4.95 a pound. And the farm offered loads of activities for parents and children. Things like face painting, a playground, slide hill, and even a candy cannon were offered for kids. For parents, there was live music, wine tasting, and plenty of free samples of amazing sweets.
The atmosphere here is pretty good. Some kids, they like to go on the train, the pumpkin eater, sometimes the slides. We have a bunch of different areas like playgrounds, ball zones.
While the Strawberry Festival is over, you can still visit the farm and pick strawberries each weekend while they're available. The farm relies heavily on its agritourism business, which according to the USDA is a $4.5 billion industry.
The rain has moved its way offshore and those warmer temperatures are coming back along with the sunshine. I'll have just how warm after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
With just 100 days until hurricane season, Floridians are encouraged to start preparing now.
The Florida Division of Emergency Management encourages residents to have a plan in place. Residents should fill their vehicles with gas and restock disaster supply kits. Kits should include enough water, food, and medical supplies to last at least 7 days. Emergency officials stress one thing: don't wait.
Waiting to the last minute really puts the stress on you and your family. So taking time early to make sure that you're prepared all year long can really reduce that stress.
The 2025 hurricane season begins June 1st and runs through November 25th.
Last hurricane season was super hectic, as we all know. Get those kits ready and help your future self. But I hear Matthew has the inside scoop on some of the names we could be seeing this year.
Yeah, with each new year, we get more names each year, a new reset of names. And actually, you see those names on your screen right now, those 2025 names. We had up until S last season. Sarah was our last one. So it was a late season bloom for the 2024 season. Going to be keeping an eye on these storm names in 2025. 100 days, still plenty of time to prepare for that hurricane season on June 1st. Right now on our campus cam, though, those clouds are gone and those blue skies are back out. Much nicer day than it was yesterday, and a beautiful sunset is in store. 73 degrees right now. It's a beautiful day, and that system that we were tracking yesterday has moved its way offshore, raining itself out. It's going to move its way up into the North Atlantic. Not much going on our satellite and radar right now. And again, temperatures much warmer than yesterday. 73 in Bronson, 71 in Ocala, and 72 in Plaka. It's a beautiful afternoon out there right now, so if you wanted that sunshine, it's back. And so are those warmer temperatures. Again, about 20 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. 18 here to Gainesville. Much noticeable temperature change. It's actually been very nice, and that evening forecast is even nicer. Those clear skies are going to come out. Look at that, down in the lower 60s and upper 50s. A slight chill in the air for our evening forecast. Going to be beautiful to get out and about. And when you're waking up on your Wednesday morning, waking up in the upper 40s and lower 50s, some patchy fog could be possible after 4 a.m., but nothing like it was the past few weeks. So that was really dense fog, but tomorrow could be some patchy fog on your morning commute. Temperatures a little bit chilly, so maybe a little sweater, but we're heating up quite fast as we head into Wednesday afternoon. 78 in Gainesville, 78 in Bronson, 78 in High Springs. Not going to quite reach the 80s, but it's still going to be a nice warm-up. So there's that system that we've been tracking, and I want you to pay attention to this system right over my right shoulder. That's all the way up in northern Canada right now. That system is going to start to move its way across into the northeast as it slides its way further to the north. Usually it comes down a little further to the south. That's why we're not going to see a lot from this system. It's going to bring some rain and some severe weather up into New York, some icy conditions there, but as it makes its way down here, it's going to stall. Not a lot of energy in that atmosphere for it to produce precipitation. Could get some clouds on our Thursday evening and a very slim chance of rain, maybe a few sprinkles down in central Florida and maybe even in North Florida as well, but then it's going to clear us right back out for Friday, and then our weekend is going to be beautiful. We're going to be in the 70s, clear skies. It's going to be a perfect beach weekend. I'll tell you that. If I have time, I'm going to be going to the beach. We're also going to be seeing these warmer temperatures for quite some time because the Climate Prediction Center has us above normal. So those normal temps are around lows in the 50s, highs in the 70s, but we could be a little bit above it. So March 1st is on our Saturday, and those temperatures are going to start to slowly increase and possibly into the 80s.
Men's hoops is chomping through their home stretch of the season after dominating LSU over the weekend. The Gators are back in action this evening in enemy territory, and we will hear from Todd Golden and Elijah Martin after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm Alexis Tadros. Let's get the ball rolling here. Florida men's hoops are back on the hardwood, taking on Georgia for the second time this season. On January 25th, the Gators beat the Bulldogs 89-59 in the Swamp. The Gators have won 6 in a row, but somehow still fell one spot to number 3 in this week's AP Top 25 poll. Good news for the Gators, forward Alex Condon is set to return this evening. So not only does Florida have a dynamic pair of bigs, but the Gators are covered on all areas of the court. Head coach Todd Golden says the focus tonight is on slowing down Georgia guard Silas Demery, and the Gators backcourt is not worried.
We have, you say best backcourt, you think me, Walt, Will. You got to think about Denzel, you got to think about Urban, even Isaiah, 4-star, 5-star, whatever he was, I don't know. But, you just look at that backcourt, man. Name another backcourt that's like that. I'll wait.
I mean, no, Georgia's very good. I think, our league can do it to you, where you get to a stretch where you're 2 out of your last 10 and you're watching them dang, these guys are good, when we're watching them on film. And I think Demery is a really important part of their deal, obviously, being the lead guard. Elijah will get him to start tomorrow night. And we just got to keep him out of the paint, hopefully force him to turn the ball over a little bit, which has been an Achilles heel for him when we play them.
Tip is set for 7 p.m. on SEC Network. Moving into the gym, Florida Gymnastics has been facing some injuries with their stars. Sloane Blakely suffered a lower leg injury in the last meet and plans to release a statement on her own regarding her return. However, Anya Pilgrim plans to be ready to return to the lineup this Friday against Missouri. Coach Rowland is eager to have Anya back in full training today.
Sloane suffered a lower leg injury and still being evaluated. I don't have any updates on that one yet. She should be making an announcement, and you'll probably be hearing something from her over the next couple days once we find out a little bit more. As far as Anya is concerned, she hit her head at the meet. She was put through concussion protocol. She's been fully released and will be back to full training today.
The ladies are back in action this Friday against Missouri and are looking forward to the chomp surrounding them in their home environment. Taking it to the mound now, high school baseball has been chugging along this season, and the Eastside Rams are taking on the Fort White Indians tonight. Our Shelby Hotz is live at Eastside High with a familiar face on First at 5. Shelby?
Here at Eastside High School, the Rams hope to defend their home fort against Fort White tonight. The Ram hopes to turn play around and secure their first win on the season against an undefeated Fort White. I'm here with head coach Matthew Brown. Matthew, how do you hope to turn play around this season?
So we're trying to get back to the basics. We stumbled out the gate early. A lot of my guys haven't played baseball since childhood. They started at 15. So we're trying to get back to the drawing board. We're hoping to pick up some momentum, little runs here, little runs there, and just turn it into something. Our guys feed off energy. Our home crowds have been bringing it. We've been on the road. It's been a little hard, so we're hoping being back home is actually going to help our guys out a lot.
All right, so being back home, how do you keep up the motivation within your team, and then how do they motivate each other?
We feed off each other. We live and die by our catcher. He's a senior. He's our leader, Rex. Our shortstop, Kurt, does the same thing. And 7 at third has been playing lights out. We're hoping that we feed off of that and build each other up, because it's easy to get down on yourself when the games have turned out the ways ours have. But we are trying to get better because we know what we're capable of and we know what our expectations are.
Absolutely. So that being said, we are wishing you good luck tonight, and we hope you secure your first win on the season. Live at Eastside High School, Shelby Hotz, WUFT Sports.
And there are some other notable matchups on the diamond this evening. Gainesville vs. Branford, Riverside vs. Bell, and Buchholz vs. North Marion. Now to the gridiron. All college athletes who declared for the NFL draft this season have been preparing for this week, which could single-handedly be their make-or-break moment. The NFL Combine starts Wednesday, and the Gators have several participants. To kick off the week, punter Jeremy Crawshaw will be on the field in Indy tomorrow, and defensive lineman Cam Jackson and linebacker Shamar James will show off their skills on Thursday. Speaking of the NFL, Levy County native Quinion Mitchell was just honored with a new sign outside his hometown. Mitchell becoming a local hero after winning the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles earlier this month. The sign went up at the county line that honors the Super Bowl 59 champ. Mitchell grew up in Williston and graduated from Williston Middle High School before taking his talents at cornerback to Toledo. He was then drafted last year in the first round by the Eagles with the 22nd pick. And one final note, Hawthorne boys basketball is headed to the state championship and leave for Lakeland later this evening. Hopefully they'll have some nice weather for the drive.
I feel like today was a prime example of Florida weather. I woke up and it was raining and cold, and now I get to walk home in a beautiful sunset, and it feels kind of nice outside.
I just feel like the weather's been fluctuating so much recently. Can you give us one last check?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of steadfast now for the next couple of days, so no more roller coaster of colds and hot and rain and sun and whatever, but it's going to be beautiful for the next couple of days, Wednesday and Thursday especially, before we get a slight chance of rain heading Thursday night into early Friday morning. Going to bring us a slight cool down, and then it's going to set us up for a beautiful start to March on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Good start to meteorology spring. March 1st is that. It's just going to be a beautiful week. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
For your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.